This week, very uncomfortable, as it always is. But this week we have 7 law enforcement officers to tell you about. The first one, Senior Investigator Nicholas Georgidis, New York State Police Department, New York, age 52, had a tour of duty of 21 years. The investigator, Nick, died as a result of cancer that he had developed following his assignment to the search and recovery efforts of the World Trade Center under the 9/11 attacks, another casualty. The investigator was also a Army National Guard veteran, had served with the New York State Police Department for 21 years, assigned to the Special Investigations Unit and New York State Homeland Security. He was survived by his wife, 2 sons, daughter, father, sister, nieces, and nephews. Wow, another 9/11 tragedy. Then we move on to Alabama. Port police officer Kimberly Sycophus, age unknown, tour of duty was 7 years. Her vehicle had left the roadway about 2:40 in the morning and sunk in about 40 feet of water. Her body was recovered at approximately 8 a.m. She had served with the Alabama Port Authority Police Department for 7 years and had previously served with as a police chief in Silver Hill Police Department. Actual circumstances of that truck leaving the roadway are unknown to us, or we'll tell you about it. And then we have police officer Robert Schisler, Department Township Police Department, New Jersey, 27 years of age, tour of duty, 4 years. He succumbed to a gunshot wounds sustained March the 10th of 23 while struggling with a subject following a foot pursuit. Sisler was taken to the hospital where he underwent multiple surgeries. He finally succumbed to those complications on May the 7th. Unfortunate. He had served with Deptford Township Police Department for 4 years. His father and brother also served in law enforcement. And then we scoot over to Wisconsin. Deputy Sheriff Katie Lessing, St. Croix Sheriff's Department office, 29 years of age, tour was 3 years. She was shot and killed while investigating a single vehicle car crash involving a drunk driver. And apparently she had been speaking with the driver for approximately 8 minutes and requested that he consent to a field sobriety test. The man suddenly produced a handgun, opened fire on the deputy, and despite being mortally wounded, she returned fire but did not strike the subject. The man ran into the woods nearby where he committed suicide approximately an hour later after the deputies had spotted him. She had served with the St. Croix County Sheriff Department for only 1 year and previously served with Pennington County Sheriff's Office in South Dakota for 2 additional years. And then we have Sergeant Joshua L. Klaus, Cameron Police Department in Texas, age and tour unknown at this time. He was shot and killed by a subject as he and other officers executed a search warrant. The subject inside the house was wanted for shooting his wife during a domestic violence incident earlier in the night. The wounded woman was able to walk to a neighbor's home, call the police. Responding officers secured the subject's residence and obtained a search warrant to take him into custody. As the officers with the Cameron Police Department, several neighboring agencies attempted to execute the warrant, the man opened fire, fatally wounding Sergeant Klaus. Other officers returned fire and neutralized the subject. Klaus was a U.S. Army veteran. He had survived by his wife and 2 children. Moving on up to Illinois, police officer in Preston, 24 years of age, 2 years, 6 months, was her Tori. She was shot and killed during an attempted robbery, and had finished her shift and was returning home when an armed subject confronted her, attempting to rob her. She was able to draw a weapon, exchange shots with multiple subjects before being mortally wounded. The subject stole her gun and fled the scene. An officer who was responding to a nearby crash discovered the officer Preston on the ground. The officer rented first aid, transported her to a local hospital in his patrol car. 5 subjects, including 1 juvenile, were arrested the following day. 4 subjects were charged with first-degree murder, armed robbery, arson, burglary, and possession of a stolen motor vehicle. Preston had served with the Chicago Police Department for 2.5 years, was assigned to the 5th District. She is survived by her mother, father, and twin siblings. And finally, Jacob Wu, age 31. I'm really not too sure where this gentleman's from. I do know Murfreesboro, Tennessee is mentioned in the notice here. Anyway, he was killed in a vehicle crash and was a former U.S. Marine veteran, served with Rutherford County Sheriff's Office for 6 years, assigned to Narcotics Division for 1 year. So, as always, our thoughts, hearts, and prayers go out to these officers' families, their units, and the communities they serve with. I'm Don McDowell.